Joining me now is Joel Rubin, Executive Director of the Jewish Electorate Institute, former Deputy Assistant Secretary of State for Legislative Affairs in the Obama administration. Joel, good morning.
Good morning,
Nice to
Kasie.
see you.
You too.
Always remarkable to see how Netanyahu sets up the things he decides to say, the language he chooses to speak. There's a lot of layers.
That's
Him
right.
saying there and acknowledging his personal friendship with Donald Trump, not something we heard him talk about when Joe Biden was still in the Oval Office. But what did you hear in how he framed that there, and what do you think it means at big picture for what we're seeing unfold in Gaza?
Well, Prime Minister Netanyahu clearly is all smiles getting this first invitation. This is something he's going to parade around Israel and say he is the leader, and that will be useful for him in dealing with his coalition, with the far-right members of his coalition, also pushing back on the opposition. But while it's all smiles up front, there are a lot of serious issues that the two men are going to have to discuss. And the ceasefire is sort of the front page issue. But they both have other things in mind. Netanyahu is always focused on Iran. President Trump is looking at Saudi Arabia. He wants his Nobel Prize. He wants to see if there's a big deal out there. And so those are going to be the hard issues they're discussing behind the scenes while ceasefire dominates the headlines.
And when you talk about Saudi Arabia, you're talking about normalization,
That's right.
between Saudi Arabia and Israel. Can you dig in a little bit more there? I mean, we know that President Trump obviously prides himself on the art of the deal. You've seen him out there threatening Mexico, Canada, I'm quickly walking back the threats after he got some concessions. How does the way he plays this kind of thing play out in the relationship with Israel and Netanyahu?
So for President Trump, his favorite success from his first term was the Abraham Accords, which expanded Israel's peace with multiple Arab countries. Saudi Arabia was always the sort of the big the
white whale.
big one, the white whale. The white whale. It continued to be so for President Biden, who tried to get there as well. But Saudi Arabia has an ask, which is if we want peace between Israel and Saudi Arabia, there needs to be a pathway for peace between Israel and the Palestinians, including a two-state solution. That is a major ask. So it's going to come to a head at some point. For President Trump, this is how he gets his Nobel Peace Prize, if he negotiates that. For Prime Minister Netanyahu, going that route may collapse his coalition. Although, of course, if President Trump is supporting it, and this is the angle that's intriguing, that may very well give him political backing inside of Israel for moving forward. But he's going to have
to move forward with a two-state solution.
To move forward on some kind of Saudi normalization, and that meaning, yes, towards peace with the Palestinians. But again, for the Israelis, until the ceasefire is done, and this has been the issue throughout the past year and a half, until the ceasefire is completed, we're not going to get there. So all of these come together. And I think that the Prime Minister will probably have some asks on Iran, too, of President Trump.
And, of course, we're going to see the two leaders later on today at a joint press
That's right.
conference. So get ready for that show. Joel Rubin, thank you very much for being here this
Kasie.
morning. I appreciate it.